So I'd like to encourage everybody to open up their video so I can take darshan of all your lotus faces. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shwapadantikam. Advaitam Shavadutam Parijanastam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitam Cha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanushte Devi Pranamami Haripriya. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bang Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurun Nityananda Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Atanchana Smriti Asmin Duskaram Sukaram Bhavet Vismrite Viparitam Shat Sri Chaitanya Namami. Hare Krishna. Give me a second. Okay. So where we are? Here we are. So welcome back all the devotees to our English Bhakti Sastri course. So today we are entering the second chapter of the Bhakti Sastri, of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter entitled The Content of the Gita Summarized. Yeah, actually, this chapter is mainly talking about Sankhya Yoga. Therefore, in Sanskrit, chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita is called the Sankhya Yoga. Okay, so before entering our topic of discussion today in chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, anybody would like to share what we have learned in the previous class, in the previous discussion about the reason for Arjuna not to fight? Okay, so we found in the first chapter, there are 4 reasons of Arjuna not to fight. And in the beginning of this chapter, we will see another reason, one more reason for Arjuna not fighting. Okay, anybody would like to share what are those 4 reasons that Arjuna has given?
One, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Rukmini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Compassion from family member.
Compassion, okay, wait there, enough. One for one devotee. Compassion, okay, can you elaborate a little bit more about compassion that we were discussing? What happened with the compassion here? Mataji, can you elaborate a little bit more about compassion that we were talking in the previous class? Arjuna's reason not to fight?
He had the intense family attachment to his family member.
Right, compassion. So he doesn't want to kill his family members, especially Bhismadev and Dronacharya, his grandfather and also his teacher. Compassion. He will kill them. So he doesn't want to do that. Thank you. And then what is the second reason for Arjuna not to fight? Any other devotee? Any other devotee?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Arjuna gave the second reason that he will not be able to enjoy if everyone is dying in the battle.
Passport.
Hare Krishna. If everyone is dying in the battle, then with whom he will enjoy? Because we have this propensity. We want to show whatever we have, and we want to share with everybody. So alone, how he can enjoy? So this is the second reason that he has given, that he will not be able to, that for not fighting. This is the second reason that he has given.
Thank you so much. Yes, enjoyment. Even if Arjuna wins the kingdom, if the family members die, then what is the point? Because you enjoy along with your family, your friends, your relatives. If they are all died, then what is the point of getting this kingdom? So that is the second reason. And then the third reason. Who would like to speak up here? The third reason.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Manish Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Please.
Fear of sinful reactions.
Hmm.
Like if he will kill his own guru, he will get the Brahma Hatya ka pap milega. He will get the papa Brahma Hatya. Then he will kill his own brothers. Like
right, sinful, sinful reaction. Arjuna is fear of sinful reaction. Killing is not at all approved actually. But in this chapter, chapter number 2, we'll be discussing when killing is approved. Okay, so sinful reaction, and then the fourth one. What is Arjuna's reason not to fight? The fourth one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. The fourth reason is the Kula Dharma, the family tradition will be break, and as a result, unwanted population, Varna Shankara, will be formed.
Yeah. Nice. So family destruction, the destruction of the family dynasty. When all men die, then who will protect the woman? When the woman is unprotected, there will be free intermingle in the society, and the Varna Sankara, unwanted population, appear, and the culture is lost. The family tradition, such as offering the pinda, is lost. Then the whole dynasty will go to hell. So that was Arjuna's fourth reason. All right. So welcome to chapter 2. Sankhya Yoga. Yeah, of course, in this chapter, Lord Krishna is not only talking about Sankhya philosophy. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada gave the title in English, the content of the Gita summarized, because in the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, we will see how Krishna systematically explaining the yoga ladder. Okay, so in this chapter, Krishna also explains the yoga ladder, but not in order. We will start from chapter 3, how Krishna explained the yoga ladder, starting from karma. Starting from karma kanda and then karma yoga, and go on to chapter 4 about gyan, and we'll discuss that a bit later as we are progressing. But in this chapter, Krishna touched all aspects such as karma, gyan, and bhakti, but not in order. Okay, so let's see Arjuna's further doubt, Arjuna's further reason of not fighting is found actually in this chapter. Okay. So content of the Gita summarized. So from text 1 to 10, we will see Arjuna's further doubts and surrender. So Arjuna's surrender will be found in text number 7. Sisyaste ham sadimam tuam prapanam. So, and then jnana. Here from text 11 to 30, Krishna talks about jnana. What kind of jnana? Atma Tattva Jnana. This is the Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya basically means that we are separating the matter and spirit. Okay, we are not the body, we are the spiritual. That's Sankhya philosophy. So it is considered to be jnana. What kind of jnana? Atma Tattva Gyan, the truth about the Atma, the soul. Yeah. So actually from text 11 to 30, Lord Krishna will defeat Arjuna's first reason, which is compassion. Yeah. Arjuna feels compassion that he will kill his grandfather, his teacher, his relatives. But by giving this Gyan, Atma Tattva Gyan, Krishna will defeat Arjuna by saying that actually nobody is killing and nobody is being killed. Because after all, we are all the spirit souls and we are eternal. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin, nainam chindanti sasrani, vasam sijirnani yata vihaya. We'll talk about that later. So as Guru, this is the theme of our discussion today. As Guru, Krishna rebukes Arjuna for his misplaced compassion. Krishna begins his instructions by describing the individual eternal nature of the soul, contrasting it with the temporary nature of the body. Krishna describes the characteristics of the soul in detail. He then introduces additional points to further defeat Arjuna's first argument, whereby he appeals to the virtues of compassion. Okay. So we will talk a bit later about misplaced compassion. What does it mean, misplaced compassion? Okay, we start text number 1. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. Yeah, Madhusudana. Even Sanjaya addressed Lord Krishna here as Madhusudana. Srila Prabhupada explained the word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu. And now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. Very unique here that this word is being used again and again. Even in the first chapter, we see directly Arjuna addressed Krishna as Madhusudan, with the intention that you are Madhusudan, you are killing your enemy, not your family, but why you are rebuking me to kill my own family. That was Arjuna's intention. But here, Sanjaya addressing Lord Krishna as Madhusudana when he informs Dhritarashtra with the intention different as what Arjuna had before. So Sanjaya's intention here is that because Krishna killed the demon Madhu, so now very soon Krishna will kill the demon of Arjuna's doubt within his mind. Okay, so this doubt in our mind, samsaya, sarva samsaya, we have all doubts in our mind. So that will be killed very soon by Madhusudana Krishna. So that was Sanjaya's intention of addressing Krishna as Madhusudan here. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada explained about the misplaced compassion. He gave the example here. Yeah, just like we see a drowning person in the ocean, in the river, in the lake, wherever it is. So when we save that person's garment, that actually not real compassion because the person is drowning and dying. But when we just save the garment and then we are claiming that we are saving the person, actually, that's not real compassion. So similarly, compassion toward the material body is not actually real compassion, like what Arjuna has here. It's not real compassion because real compassion means compassion to the spirit soul. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada talks about ahimsa. Srila Prabhupada is explaining about ahimsa. What does it mean, ahimsa? So ahimsa means non-violence, compassion, yeah, non-violence. But real ahimsa, Srila Prabhupada explained, we preach Krishna consciousness. Why? What does it mean? How it is connected? Ahimsa means to preach Krishna consciousness. Because when we preach Krishna consciousness, we are actually saving the real person, which is the spirit soul, the jiva. Yeah. Because anyhow, this material body will die. Jatasya dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janmamritasya cha. Tasmat apariharyete natvam suchitumarasi. Later on in this chapter, Krishna says, Jatasya dhruvam mrityu. For those who take birth, death is sure. Means those who get material body, death is sure. This body is meant to die. Yeah. Jatasya dhruvam mrityu. And then dhruvam janma mritasya cha. If we don't achieve liberation, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. And those who die will take birth again. Tasmat apariharyete natvam suchitumarasi. Don't lament, O Arjuna. Carry on your duty, fighting. Don't lament. There is no point of lamenting here, especially you are Kshatriya. So that's about a real compassion. Real compassion means compassion to the jiva, yeah, not to the body, because the body will ultimately die. So we are speaking on the different level here. Of course, we are. I'm not saying here that we can neglect our body. No. However, this body is, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, make the best use of the bad bargain. Yeah, this body is temporary. This body is full of disease, full of miseries. But if we utilize in Krishna service, this body becomes very useful. It doesn't mean that when we talk about high philosophy, about gyan, about Atma Tattva Gyan, we are immediately becomes a renouncer now, neglecting our body. No. There is a difference between negligence and detachment. Okay, it's a big gap here, big difference between negligence and detachment. So first, detachment means we are not attached with this body, but at the same time we utilize this body. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. Yeah, Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate. We utilize everything in connection to Krishna. We are not attached. We should have this knowledge that this body is temporary. Anytime we may leave our body, but as long as we live in this human form life, we should utilize in Krishna service. This is called detachment. We're not attached, but at the same time, we're not acting irresponsibly, neglectfully toward this body. Okay, because this body also Krishna's property. It is not our property. It is Krishna's property. Therefore, it is to be used in Krishna's service. So that is detachment. Detachment means when we utilize everything in Krishna's service. And negligent means artificially detached. For example, we have money, we have car, or we have house. Krishna has given that to us, and we have to take care of those property. But if we think like this, okay, my motorbike is belong to Krishna. This motorbike is belong to Krishna. Okay, no problem. It's not mine anyway. So you leave the gate open at night, and the thief will come and take that motorbike. That's called irresponsible. It is not detachment. So negligence or irresponsible means artificial detachment. But real detachment means we are utilizing everything in Krishna's service. So I'm making this point because many people misunderstand that, okay, we are not the body, then no need to take care of this body. That's a wrong conception. We are not the body. At the same time, Krishna has given us this material body, so we have to utilize it in Krishna's service. Yeah, sarva upadi vinir muktam tat parat vena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. That's the point. We utilize all the senses in Krishna's service. Okay, that's one analogy about drowning man. Real compassion means to save the person, not the garment. So real compassion means to save the soul, not the material body. Okay, compassion for the dress of drowning man is senseless. Similarly, a man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outer dress. That's Prabhupada's statement. So text number 2. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Utas tukas malam idam visame samupasitam anarya justam ashwargam akirtim karam Arjuna. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Bhagavan, Okay, Srila Prabhupada will talk about Bhagavan in his purport here. So Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjun, how have these impurities come upon you? So Kutastva kas malam idam, how these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life." So Arya means actually civilized man. And here Krishna says to Arjuna, an Arya means someone who doesn't know the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Akirti. Kirti means fame. Yeah. So here, Lord Krishna addressed Arjuna by his name directly, Arjuna. We will talk about that later why. So Anarya, this very important word is used here, Anarya. Arya means someone who civilized, knows the value of life. So Arjuna is belong to the Aryans, yeah, to the high class of men who is civilized and full of knowledge. But here, giving all these reasons, Lord Krishna says, you are a knowledgeable person, but how come these impurities? Kutastva kasmalam. How come these impurities? What does it mean, impurity here? Ignorance. Arjuna is acting foolishly here. But actually he's belong to the Arya, to the civilized, knowledgeable person. But why Arjuna is lamenting like a fool here? So Arjuna, Krishna just making joke actually here to Arjuna. Yeah. So talking about Bhagavan, this word Bhagavan, Sri Bhagavan watch. This word, Srila Prabhupada explained. The Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parasara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva, the Supreme Personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. So Bhagavan means one who possesses all opulences in full. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada explained many times in his lecture that we may have wealth, we may have beauty, we may become famous, superstar, whatever it is. But only the Supreme Personality of Godhead possessed all these six opulences in full. Yeah, therefore he's called Bhagavan, one who possessed six opulences in full. And then talking about Bhagavan aspect, there are three aspects of absolute truth. Yeah, Bhagavan. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada gives the example in his purport, just like the sun, okay, the sun globe, the sun surface, and the sunlight. So in his purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. This can be explained by the example of the sun sign, the sun's surface, and the sun planet. Yeah. So this light is compared to the Brahman. And then the Paramatma aspect is just like the surface, the Paramatma. And then the Bhagavan is the sun planet itself. Actually, this is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti sabhyati. So there are three aspects of absolute truth. Yeah. Vadanti tat tattva vidam. So tattva means the truth, absolute truth. So brahmeti, the Brahman aspect, impersonal Brahman. Brahmeti, paramatmeti, the Paramatma aspect, the localized, the super soul, and then the Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And text number 3. Okay, Sudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Krishna is slapping Arjuna here with his words. Yeah. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotent. It does not become you. give up such pity, weakness of heart. Yeah. Sudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. And arise, O chastiser of the enemy. So in this verse, Krishna addressed Arjuna as Partha. In the previous verse, Arjuna was addressed as Arjuna. So why? Again, Krishna here actually giving slap to Arjuna. So Partha, because Arjuna is also belong to the same family. Yeah, Partha, we are Kshatriya. Same intention with the first chapter. In the first chapter, when Krishna addressed Arjuna as Partha, the son of Pritha, because your mother is my auntie. Your mother is the sister of my father. We are belong to the great warrior family. Then Hridayam Sudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. How come this weakness appear in your heart? We never ran from the battle. Well, of course, Krishna ran once from the battle. Therefore, he's known as the Ranchor. But his activities is glorious because he wants to give the chance to Muchukunda Maharaj to glorify his devotee Muchukunda Maharaj, to serve him, to kill that demon. Yeah. But as Kshatriya, Kshatriya is actually, the nature of Kshatriya is brave. And as I mentioned earlier in the previous class, that for Kshatriya, better to die in the battlefield rather than run away, remain alive. Yeah. So that's Krishna's intention here, calling Arjuna as Partha. And in text number 4, now Arjuna speak again. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in the battle? In battle, men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship. So Arjuna is saying here, instead of throwing arrows, I supposed to offer them respect, worship them with flowers. Yeah. Madhusudana, again, same intention with the Bhagavad Gita, that Arjuna is saying that you are killing your enemy, not your family. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, by addressing Krishna as Madhusudana and Arishudana, Arjuna calls attention to the fact that Krishna is the killer of his enemies, not of his guru and grandfather. Arjuna would prefer to offer flowers at the feet of Drona and Bhishma, not arrows. And this is a very important verse. Ya guru nahatva himahan bhava seo bhuktum vaikshamapi. So it would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Yeah, Gurun Ahatva, Arjuna says here, Gurun Ahatva. Vaikshamapi haloke. Better I live by begging. Vaiksha, Bhiksha means begging. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are all superior. They are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. So Arjuna mentioned here that Rudira Pradiktan, everything will be tainted by blood. If we win the kingdom, we enjoy so-called enjoyment, but we kill them. We kill our superior, our grandfather, our teachers. So we are here misbehaving. So that was important one. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada asking a question here. According to scriptural codes, when is a teacher is fit to be abandoned? Yeah. Because Arjuna is giving the reason here. They are our guru. They are our superior. They are our guru. But so Arjuna says, no, we should worship them. But here, there is a place, a time when we can give up our spiritual master. Yeah, according to scriptural code, a teacher who engages in an abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Yeah, is fit to be abandoned. Because what is the duty of a spiritual master? What is the main duty of a guru? Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, daivam na tatsyam na paticha sasyan, Namo Chayetya Samupetyam Rityam. So Rishabhadev Maharaj said that Namo Chayetya Samupetyam Rityam. One should not become guru, guru na sasya. One should not become a guru if he namo chayetya samupetyam rityam, cannot deliver his disciples from the repetition of birth and death. That's the main responsibility of being a spiritual master. Unless you are capable to deliver your disciples, then you should not become a guru. Because to become a guru is not a cheap thing. It's a heavy responsibility. Guru nasashat swajanu. You should not become leader. Swajanu nasashat. Pita nasashat. You should not become father. Janani nasashat. You should not become a mother. Daivam nasashat. You should not become a worshipable person if you cannot deliver your dependence. So Arjuna giving the reason, no. They are our guru, our teacher. How can we fight with them? How can we throw arrow? We have to worship them. But here, Srila Prabhupada explained, if your guru is deviating from the norms of the scripture and lost his senses of discrimination, what is good, what is bad, then such kind of guru should be rejected. Because how can you be, okay, for example, if you are bound by a rope, yeah, you need help, and the person who can help you is the person who is unbound, person who is free, because the bound cannot help another bound person. Yeah, makes sense. Like if you fall down in a well, let's say like that. If you fall down in a well, so you need help from up, right? Not from the same person who is there with you in the well. So such kind of guru should be given up if they have lost their sense of discrimination. They don't follow rules and regulation. Therefore, there is some injunction in our practice in ISKCON that if your guru falls down, for example, so you are allowed to take re-initiation. But there is also an injunction. Well, this is a bit complicated. Actually, this matter is described in the ISKCON Disciple course. If you happen to attend the course, it's elaborated there that there are some circumstances when you don't necessarily immediately rejecting your guru. If there is chance for that person, that guru to be rectified, then no need to take re-initiation. But if there's no chance, then Hare Krishna, you have to take re-initiation. Means to take shelter from another bona fide spiritual master, just to help us. Yes. Okay. And here is actually the reason, one more reason for Arjuna not fighting, the fifth reason in text number 6. Nor do we know, Arjuna says, nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battle. So what happened here till this text number 6 with Arjuna, what happened to Arjuna, he is perplexed. Now his mind is, just like you are in a place where you are about to enter, but you don't enter. One leg inside, one leg outside. This is what happened to Arjuna. Should we conquer them or should we conquered by them? I'm confused here. So the fifth reason here is that indecision. Arjuna cannot make his mind. Arjuna cannot make his mind. Just like when we have big doubt in our mind, okay, where to go, whether go here or go there. And when you don't decide anything, you just stuck in one place. This has happened to many brahmacharis actually. Whether remain brahmachari or get married. Yeah. many devotees facing this kind of circumstances, one step in, one step out. But however, no matter wherever we are, the main point is that practicing Krishna consciousness. So that's Arjuna's situation here. Yeah, one step in, one step out. He is indecision. He cannot make up his mind whether to fight or not to fight. If fight, they are my family. If not fighting, well, this is his duty, Kshatriya Dharma. Okay, so this is the fifth reason, indecision. Yeah. Arjuna is perplexed. So in a lecture, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, we say consciousness. We don't say stop fight or do this, do that, do that. No, everything should be done in Krishna consciousness. That is our propaganda. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. Whatever you do, it must have some relationship with the satisfaction of Krishna. So this is the key point here. Everything should be connected with Krishna. So here Arjuna is so selfish, actually, so selfish, just thinking about himself, about his own happiness. Why his own happiness? If we see all these 5 reasons given by Arjuna all make sense. Nothing wrong with that. But there is only one can defeat all these 5 arguments, and that is satisfying Krishna. Whatever in life we do, we have to ask ourselves whether this pleases Krishna or not. Will that please Krishna or not? Yeah. Samsiddhir harito sanam ata pumbir dvija srishta varnasram vibhaga sahasvanustita siddharmasya samsiddhir harito sanam. To please Krishna. We sometimes in our practice, we may think that what I'm doing is correct. What I'm doing is correct. But we have to sometimes contemplate again whether that pleases Krishna or not. Is that for my pleasure or for Krishna's pleasure? For example, doing kirtan, okay, doing kirtan. It's all good. We all chant Hare Krishna. We love to chant Hare Krishna. But sometimes as a singer, if you are in the position of leading the kirtan, you have to really contemplate on yourself whether this kirtan that I'm singing now is for my pleasure or for Krishna's pleasure. Is that kirtan to attract the attention of the whole world, and by the end of the day I will get praise? Oh Prabhu, oh Mataji, you have such a beautiful, wonderful voice. You play mridanga nicely, you play harmonium nicely. Is that our intention, or our intention just to please Krishna? That we should ask to ourselves. So similarly here, Arjuna giving different reasons: compassion, sinful reaction, and enjoyment, and family destruction, and indecision. All these reasons seems to be very, very valid. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Krishna just smashed all these reasons one by one. Because ultimately, why Arjuna feels compassion? Because for his own happiness, he will be happy by seeing his grandfather, his teacher remain alive. His own happiness ultimately. And then sinful reaction. He doesn't want to get sin, because by getting sin, we'll go to the hell and we suffer. Ultimately for his happiness. Enjoyment, obvious, okay, for his happiness. And then family destruction, because he wants to see all family remain alive, his happiness. So everything is about me, me, me. Arjuna is thinking about himself. And finally, so this is the 5th reason. You have to make a note of this. Here, text number 7, the famous verse, one of the most famous verse. Karpanya doso pahata swabhava prichami tvam dharma samuda cheta. So I highlight this word, yeah, very important. Dharma samuda cheta. Confused about my duty. The word Shreya is also used in this verse. Yeah, as I mentioned in the first chapter of our discussion, there are two words is used to indicate what gain you're gonna have. There is Preya and another one is Shreya. Preya is just for present at the time being, immediate result, immediate benefit. But Shreya means long term, for long term. Yeah, Arjuna is thinking about future. Shreyo Bhoktum. What is that? Sorry. Yachreyashan Nichitam Bruhitam. So the translation is, now I'm confused about my duty. Dharma, Samuda Cheta. Cheta means mind, Samuda means illusion, Dharma means duty. And have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Yeah, Yachreyashan. What is best for me? So Arjuna is asking about future, yeah, long term. What is best for Arjuna, not just for at that time. Now I'm your disciple. Sisyaste aham. Sisyaste aham. And a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. Sisyaste aham sadimam tuam prapana. So according to different acharyas such as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushana, actually Arjuna, yes, he's surrendering here to Krishna, but not fully surrendered. But not fully surrender here. When he says that Sisya seham sadimam tuam prapanam, Arjuna says to Krishna, I'm your disciple. Please accept me as your disciple. I am a soul surrender unto you. Arjuna is surrendering, but not fully. So we may expect that in the next text, in text number 8, Krishna would reply to Arjuna's appeal. Yeah, by saying, okay, Arjuna, I accept you. Now you are my disciple. No, but we see that Lord Krishna keeps silent. Okay, because Krishna is testing Arjuna, how far, how serious Arjuna wants to be his disciple. Because all these days, both of them were friends. How can you surrender to your friend to become disciple of your friend? It's a joke, right? You're on the same age and suddenly, for example, you have a friend now, very close friend. You crack joke all the times, you eat together, you may lay down on the same bed together, going here and there together. And suddenly your friend is telling you now, Prabhu or Mataji, I'm surrendering to you. I want to become your disciple. You may think, oh, what a joke. Therefore, Lord Krishna remained silent. So he didn't reply immediately in text number 8. Krishna wants to see how far, how serious Arjuna is, wants to become his disciple. Actually, in his mind, Lord Krishna says, oh, why don't you go to Vyasadeva? This is the commentary of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan. So he said that Krishna says in his mind, why don't you go to Vyasadeva? You have so much respect to Vyasadeva. Better go to Vyasadeva and surrender to him, become his disciple. I'm just your friend. I'm just your friend. Okay. Srila Prabhupada mentioned, all Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happen without our desire. See, Guru is very important. Without Guru, we cannot advance. And especially all the perplexities, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, which happen without our desire, right? Is there anybody here asking for perplexities in life? Nobody. Nobody wants suffering. Well, except Queen Kunti. Queen Kunti prays. Yeah. How is that prayer? Very famous prayer. I forgot how it started. Anybody remember that prayer by Queen Kunti? Oh, Krishna, you see, this is my disease actually, when I cannot remember one sloka, which is actually just on the tip of my tongue. I got like so much headache here.
Prabhuji, Janma, Aishwarya, Shutasri, something like that.
No, it's different one. Different one. Just before that, I think. Vipada santuta saswa tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darsanam yachat apunar bhava darsanam. Yeah, that's the verse. Vipada santuta saswat tatra tatra jagat guru. She prays to Lord Krishna that please give me again and again all these miseries. Vipada santuta saswat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darsanam yachat. Because when we face difficulties, you always come and help us. So Bhavato Darsana, how is it? Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru, Bhavato Darsanam Yasyat, Apunar Bhava Darsanam. By seeing you, Apunar Bhava Darsanam, we will not see anymore the repetition of birth and death. So that was Queen Kunti's prayer. Yeah. She wants all these miseries come again and again because Krishna will always come to help them again and again. And by seeing Krishna, one gets liberated. So except Queen Kunti, nobody expect in their life, nobody desire in their life to get perplexities, to get suffering. Nobody. Okay. Yeah, without our desire, Srila Prabhupada. And these perplexities can be overcome when we advance in Krishna consciousness. And how to advance is by getting a spiritual master. Yeah, all Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master. Yeah, to get free from the perplexities in life. So the main perplexity is the janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. So dukkha, dosa, anudarsana. If we see the janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, dosa, if we see all these four things as dukkha, as suffering in our life, then our path toward liberation is open. Janma is so painful. Taking birth is so risky. Many babies die, mothers sometimes die. So taking birth is suffering. Even before birth, when we're still in the womb of our mother, we are suffering so much. Yeah. Taking birth, janma, and then mrityu, death, especially when we have a lot of attachment. It's painful. It's painful. Mrityu, everybody afraid of death. Mrityu, jara, old age. Nobody wants to get old. We always try to maintain this body, remain beautiful. Why we are wearing, putting so much makeup, for example? Because we want to look beautiful and young. Yeah. One time when I was in Cambodia, I was doing street Harinam and then tried to distribute some books, and there was one Japanese lady. So Japanese lady. So I hand her a book and we talk, and I don't know why, why I asked, how old are you? And she became so furious, like, what's your business? What's your problem? Why you ask me this question? You are so impolite. I said, no. I have no bad intention. I just want to know how old are you? And she just went off. And then one Prabhupada disciple who were there at that time told me that never ask a lady how old they are, especially when they look old. They will get offended. Yeah, this is our nature. We want to be always look young, always beautiful, right? So jara, vyadi, and disease. Nobody wants disease. Nobody wants disease. Everybody wants healthy. So, but however, we are in the material world, perplexities, miseries will come. Therefore, the intelligent person not putting so much concern about happiness and distress. That's what we will discuss in this chapter. Yeah, agama paino nitya stamstiti sasvabharata. Just tolerate happiness and distress. It's just like summer and winter. Yeah, therefore, tashyai vaheto prayate takovido nalabhyate yad brahmatam upadyadha. Tal labhyate dukavan anyata sukha kalena sarvatra gambhira ramasa. So this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam actually. Tashyai vaheto prayate takovido. Those who are intelligent, They will search something which is very, very rare, which is cannot be obtained even up to the planet of Brahmaloka. Prayate takuvido nalavyate yad brahmatam upari adaha. Up and down in this 14 planetary system. What is very rare? Bhakti. Devotee is concerned is only bhakti. As far as happiness and distress is concerned, don't think so much about that. How's that? Uparyadaha talavyate dukkavad anyata sukham. Don't expect happiness, because happiness will come anyway, just like dukkha will come anyway without one's desiring it. That means it is not that I'm not deserve happiness. We may think like that. Why Vishnu Rata is mentioning that don't expect happiness. No, I'm trying to say here that no need to expect too much about your happiness. It will come. By the due course of time, it will come. Just like how suffering comes to our life without we are expecting it, it will come anyway. So happiness also will come according to our karma. Karmana daivane trena jantur digo papataye striya pravistam udara kumsurita kanasraya. These two things determine our life. Karmana, the result of our activities, and daivane trena, Krishna's supervision. Yeah. All right, that's about Guru. Come back to this verse about Guru. We have to approach a spiritual master to get rid from perplexities in life, which happen without our desire, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned. And still here, the word karpanya. What is the significance of the word karpanya? So Prabhupada explained there are two things here: karpanya, the kripana, and the brahmana, the miser. The kripanas or miserly persons waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members on the basis of skin disease. The Kripana thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. So this is Kripana. Kripana. The Grihamedi, known as the Kripana, miser. Brahmana means charitable in nature, very charitable. And Kripana is the miserly person. But what is the real meaning here of miserly person? When we think that in terms of ahamameti, again, come back to that conception, ahamameti, all center in me, my family. This is called skin disease. One time, Srila Prabhupada was hearing one of his disciples mentioning, oh, this Indian devotee, Russian devotee, American devotee, and Prabhupada immediately stopped it. Prabhupada said, this is skin disease. Indian devotees, Russian devotees, American devotees. You are still in your bodily conception. We are all same spirit souls, and we are all devotees. So skin disease, especially when we are too attached with our family members. Deha patya kalatradisu atma sanyeshvashat swapi tesam pramatu nidanam pashyanapi na pashyati. So pashyan api na pashyati means we see, but we don't really see. What we see? We see that our ancestor, they are dying. People are dying. Grandfather dying. Parents are dying. But we think that I will not die. Pashyan api na pashyati. We are seeing, but we're not really seeing. Yeah. Deha apatya kalatra disu. Deha means the body. Too attached with the body. We try to keep our life for as long as possible. Did I tell about Michael? What is his name? That pop singer, Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson. He was planning that to live in that body, in his body, for 150 years. He has 12 doctors, specialists for him, for his health, to take care of his health. And then he has his own cook, and he has some person to examine the food, some person to buy the boga. Well, I mean, not the boga, to buy the vegetables. Yeah. So everything seems to be perfect. Yeah. And he expected in his life that he will continue his life up to 150 years. That was his goal, because he's rich. Whatever he wants, he get it. But then when he reached the age of 50, he died. Yeah. So what can we say? Deha patya kalatra, this body will die. Therefore, we should not be too attached. Yeah, otherwise, death will be so painful for us if we are too attached with this body. Yeah, this is kripana, miserly. We don't use this body to serve Krishna. This is also miserly. This body is Krishna's property. And in text number 8, Arjuna still continuing. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So Srila Prabhupada commented, if economic development and material comfort could drive away one's lamentation for family, social, national, or international inabilities, then Arjuna would not have said that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or supremacy like that of the demigods in the heavenly planets would unable to drive away his lamentation. So lamentation, yeah, this is one of our disease. Therefore, one who is advanced in a Brahma Bhuta platform, their symptom is that no hankering, no lamentation. Yeah, Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma, na sochati, na kansati. Na sochati means no lamentation. But our life full of lamentation. We lament for what we lose. We have something, and then when we lose it, we lament for that. Oh, and then we hanker for something that we don't have. That's our natural tendencies. Therefore, only Krishna consciousness can drive away all lamentation. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsa Soka Moha Bhaya Apaha. So these three things, not only lamentation. Soka means lamentation. Bhaya means fear. Soka, Moha, illusion. All three things will be drive away when bhaktir utpadyate pumsa, when bhakti arise in our heart. Yeah. I'm not saying that Arjuna here doesn't have bhakti. Why he's lamenting? Come back to our first discussion, because of the Yoga Maya influence Arjuna. Yoga Maya influences Arjuna, and that's actually Krishna's desire. Otherwise, Gita will not be spoken. Text number 9. Finally, Sanjaya Uvacha. Evam Ukta Rishikesham Gudakesha Parantapa. Nayotsha iti Govinda Uktva Tustim Babuvaha. Uktva Tusnim Babuvaha. So here, finally, Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of the enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. So Nayotsha means don't want to fight. Govinda, I will not fight. But when Sanjaya said this to Dhritarashtra, actually, simultaneously, Sanjaya gives joy as well as disappointment to Dhritarashtra. Let's analyze this sloka. This sloka giving joy, simultaneously disappointment to Dhritarashtra. How? Here, first, Nayotsha, I highlighted here. I give different color here, okay? Nayotsha means I don't want to fight. That what Dhritarashtra wants. When Arjuna doesn't want to fight, we're gonna win the kingdom. because Arjuna alone actually can defeat the whole army. He's a great warrior. So when Arjuna said, Nayotya iti Govinda, I don't want to fight, Dhritarashtra becomes so happy. But the way how Sanjaya addressed Arjuna here as Parantapa, as the chastiser of the enemy, so he's actually able to chastise all his enemy. And here, Govinda, again, another word here used by Sanjaya is that Hrishikesha and Govinda, very significant. Yeah, very significant. Hrishikesha means the master of senses. Govinda, one who gives pleasures to the senses, right? So Krishna's name here addressed very specially here by Sanjaya, because Sanjaya is indicating because Krishna is the master of the senses. So now very soon, Krishna will drive back Arjuna's losing senses into his real senses and get up to fight. Another thing also here, Sanjaya mentioned, Guda Kesha means one who conquers sleep or ignorance. So although now Arjuna says, I don't want to fight, he seems to be illusion, but very soon Arjuna will get up and fight. So he gives pleasure as well as disappointment to Dhritarashtra. And text number 10, O descendant of Bharat, at that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. All right, I'll stop here. If any question or comments, you are allowed, because the next part of our discussion from text 11 to 30 is actually a different subject matter. So I don't want to continue because we have only 8 minutes left here. Whether any question or comment, let's take this time to be interactive. So the point here, again, so the point here in the first part, in the text number 6, we find Arjuna's fifth reason not to fight, which is indecision. He was perplexed. And then in text number 7, he started to surrender to Krishna, but not fully surrender to Krishna. Therefore, so far, Lord Krishna didn't respond anything because he wants to see how serious Arjuna is. Yeah, how far he wants to surrender to Krishna. And in text number 9, Sanjaya spoke up to Dhritarashtra, giving him joy as well as disappointment. Okay, next part of our discussion will be about Sankhya philosophy, yeah, Atma Tattva Gyan, to defeat Arjuna's first reason not to fight, which is compassion. We'll talk more about soul, Atma Tattva. All right, thank you so much. Were there any question or comment, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, please.
Yes, Prabhu. There is one question that that Arjuna make this situation by the Krishna, that they make them bewild, that to make the platform of the to say Bhagavad Gita. But by this way, is not the rasa bhasa of the main content of the Gita. We feel rasa bhasa, that if it is a making of Krishna to by this way, is not the rasa bhasa of the main content of the Gita. We feel like this is a rasa bhasa. Then is it making of Krishna? Then put Arjuna in the bewilderness and say the Bhagavad Gita. Is not the rasa bhasa of the main content.
The rasa
bhasa.
Oh, rasa bhasa. We can actually analyze the situation through different angle. By the way, thank you very much for that question. Very nice, Prabhu. Yes, but the rasa bhasa, if we talk about the rasa bhasa here, not so much touching into it. Yeah, of course, there are 5 main rasas and 7 secondary rasas, and out of those 7, there are like madness, feeling devastation, or yawning. I don't know why yawning is mentioned there also. So all this, yes, if we see it through different angle, through the rasa angle, yes, Arjuna here is feeling devastation. But if we connect to rasa, it's actually not really connected. But we will see Arjuna's uh, rasa in devastation in the 11th chapter, when Lord Krishna manifests his universal form. So Arjuna is feeling wonder mixed with devastation, mixed with bhaya, mixed with fear. So that's the rasa bhas there, like all different kind of feeling mixed together in the 11th chapter toward the end. Yeah, but here mainly Arjuna is put into illusion as a platform for Lord Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita. So that's actually, let's make it clear. Otherwise, we may just speculate. We may speculate many different things. But according to our acharyas, commentaries like Baladev Vidyabhushan and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the only reason why Arjuna is put into illusion is just for Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita as a platform to speak the Bhagavad Gita. But if we analyze from the perspective of rasa, it's not really touching at this point. We can see that point in the 11th chapter. Yeah, 11th chapter where Krishna was, where Arjuna was feeling fear at the same time devastating, and so many different feelings mixed between inside Arjuna's heart. But the point here is that Arjuna is put into illusion just for Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita, nothing else. I would say nothing else. As far as the Acharya's commentary, otherwise we may end up by speculating different things. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Lord.
3 minutes. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, Prabhu. So we
Oh,
can see that all the good quality. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. So we can see that all the good qualities of Vaishnava or a good perfect devotee was already there in Arjuna. He was also very compassionate towards the souls, and he was also kind of detached also, which are the one of the qualities of Vaishnavas. So he was ready to give up everything. So was that the only reason that he was actually not planning to fight, or it was also Krishna's arrangement only that he was showing this kind of compassion towards others?
Yeah. Uh, Regarding compassion, thank you for that question. Regarding compassion, yes, indeed, Srila Prabhupada in the first chapter mentioned that this is actually the quality of devotee. Yes, yasti bhaktir bhagavati kinchana. I think Srila Prabhupada quoted that verse in one of his purport that yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati kinchana sarvari gunais tatra samasti sura. Those who are engaged in Krishna service, they automatically develop good qualities of the demigod, yeah, in sattva gun. But coming back to your question, whether that's Arjuna's real reason not to fight or it is also Krishna's arrangement, I would say both. Yeah, both, because first of all, in one sense, Krishna loves to glorify his devotees. Yeah, Krishna loves to glorify his devotees. So if we read the first chapter, we see that, oh, Arjuna is such a soft-hearted, and this is the nature of the devotees. So it is Krishna's plan, but later on, Krishna just smashed that. Krishna loves to play. But yes, Krishna loves to glorify his devotees, of course. Not even a blade move without the sanction of God, right? So Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina mastani sarva bhutani na chaham teshu avasthita. Maya dhyaksena prakrite suyate cha saracharam hetu nanena kauntya jagad viparivartate. What to speak of a blade of grass? Jagad viparivartate, the whole jagat, the whole universe move because Krishna's arrangement. So everything is arranged by Krishna. Yeah, that's Arjuna's reason not to fight, feeling compassion, At the same time, Krishna wants to glorify his devotees. For us to learn also that because when we advance in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, naturally the compassion is developed within our heart. Yeah, soft-heartedness. Srila Prabhupada mentioned this word in one of his lecture, being soft-hearted. That means our heart becomes soft. Yeah, why our heart like stone? Because full of anarthas. When the anarthas is gone by the process of Cheto-darpana, marjana, the cleansing process by chanting the holy names, engage in devotional service, our heart becomes softened. Yeah, that's the proof that we are advancing. We have saying in Indonesia, in my country, that if you go to school, yeah, for example, if you go to school, but you remain stupid and you don't get any knowledge, people in the village, in my village, people used to say, oh, you are just like a boiled stone. You know, if we boil stone, it will not cook. If you boil egg, it may cook. So boiled stone means no matter how long you boil the stone, it will remain like stone. So you go to school and you come out like this, same thing. Nothing happened to you. No knowledge, no improving behavior. You are just like stone. You boil stone, it remains like that. So we practicing devotional service, some change should be there. And it is true. Some change takes place. In what grade, it depends on our intensity in our practice. All right, Prabhu, thank you so much. So see you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow and then day after tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Please
Hare,
do.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please
Oh,
accept my humble obeisances.
the
That we have
brother of Sarvadem Mai Hari Prabhu. Yes,
some
Prabhu.
in this lifetime. Prabhu, one thing, if you start the meeting with our ID which is given, the group where there the host is our Pranav. He can record the classes and that will be really helpful for us.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
today's session somehow didn't get record, and
Yeah.
if we can get the recordings by your mercy,
Yeah,
future.
actually, I do the live streaming in YouTube, so I can share the link.
That will also do. It will be always there in YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay. Right.
I actually prefer to do the live because I don't have to download and then I don't have to upload again. This live is
Okay.
just like this.